The city streets of San Francisco at night are ruined like a ruined pair of pants that maybe you sat on a bench that got painted on, and that's what the city's like.
This is good. This is noir to me.
That's like the noiriest thing that I could think of to say.
Yeah.
Was like, I don't know, when you ruin a pair of pants, it seems very melancholy.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing Tex Murphy, Tesla Effect. It's the new Tex Murphy game. You may remember the Tex Murphy series from the 1960s, which is when this game's first coming out.
Well, it has been since 1998 the last time we got a Tex Murphy game. And Overseer, which was the 1998 Tex Murphy game, actually ended on a cliffhanger.
Which
so that's
great.
Fun.
Speaking of fun, there's a fun MST3K reference, which is appropriate since Kevin Murphy is up in this game. Let's batten down the hatches. Let's get brass tacks and talk about what's going on. Because I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the people watching this video didn't really know what was happening, what we're looking at right now.
Okay, so important note, I just want to point out here, what we've got is a flashback, sort of, to an earlier Tex Murphy game. This is from Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon, I think. Pretty sure. But these are sort of scattered throughout the game.
Every 15 seconds, you'll run into one.
Especially earlier, there are a lot of them. It's mainly to make people who haven't played the games feel a little more plugged in to the character.
It sort of just hit me as like the most fan service I've ever seen, sort of condensed.
It's nice fan service, but it's also, for people who haven't played. Although people who haven't played, I don't think will get the most out of the Tex Murphy games. But I mean, what game isn't that true about that? If you pick up with the sixth one, then
sure,
it's not as satisfying. But
so
yeah,
This is a very, very, very old school adventure game. Not just in the mechanics, but in the silliness of it. It feels like an old Sierra game. Like I just looked at the Maltese Falcon. In your bedroom is like the Ark of the Covenant. It's zany in the way that games used to be in the late 80s, early 90s. But what makes it real special is this.
Oh man,
is all live action, full motion video, which is the reason I'm assuming why Justin knows what this franchise is, because you're all about that FMV. I don't even have to say. I feel like I shouldn't need to tell people that.
Yeah, at this point.
And it's weird because, and this may be blasphemous, the FMV in this game is not terrible. Wow. It's actually the production quality, I would say, is some of the best I've ever seen, which I guess makes sense because they don't make FMV games anymore, and there have been some advances in camera technology and shit.
Cameras are much better. FMV could all look like this. Just imagine we're letting a bright new day of FMV. But yeah, there's none of the scaling or none of the image degradation that you're used to with FMV. It's all super clear, high res footage. And the performances are sort of a mixed bag, I would say.
Yeah,
the
I think that's safe to say.
Is that they've brought back maybe half of the characters in this game are old Tex Murphy staples. Sure. Okay, so to catch everybody up, Tex Murphy is a detective in New San Francisco, which is after World War III. He's actually in the old San Francisco part of town, but it is after World War III. There's a lot of radiation and crap, and Tex works out of his office on Chandler Avenue as a private investigator. He's sort of a hapless detective who somehow manages to lunkhead his way to the end of a problem, but and typically gets embroiled in some sort of high stakes world ending calamity.
He's a full motion video version of the heroes from the Police Quest games or the Space Quest games, these dullards who have no right being in the position of heroicism that they have been.
It's not that far off. He is that combination sort of slapstick hero that will occasionally do something worthwhile. So about half of the people you interact with in this game are actually returning to the series, which is crazy that the dude who runs the
pawn
pawn shop and the electronics store, and a few others that you meet as you play are like old actors, not old in like age wise. I mean,
but a lot of them are also
very old, but they're like returning to like somehow they're still like in the acting game, and they're like, yeah, I'll dip in again.
Well, I'm pretty sure it seems like Chris Jones was like, we're getting the team back together.
Yes, that definitely is what it feels like.
Chris Jones is the writer, designer, creator.
He's
and
a designer.
He is Tex Murphy.
The Tex Murphy.
That is, he's a man of many talents. So
now, I don't know if you can tell, but as good as the FMV looks, the environments by and large are not great. They certainly feel very, very outdated, I think it's fair to say.
There's a little bit of, and I mean, I don't know. It kind of seems like, I'm not sure if it was made in Unity or not. It kind of seems like it is. It was made in Unity. So a lot of the user interface stuff, like you can see in that last scene, you had some branching dialogue options that were presented in a pretty rough UI. Like stuff like that is pretty is pretty distracting. So yes, and then I mean these environs are not.
No, they're not great. I mean, you're here for the FMV. They have some 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope.
I don't know.
Sorry,
how am I supposed to know?
Is this the point at which you were DMing me to ask me what the code for the lockbox was?
I couldn't figure it out. Just kidding, I did.
Now, can you talk about the casual versus game player mode?
Okay, so there's two modes in which you can play this game. There's casual, in which you have a hint system telling you what you need to do at any given time. Kind of takes a little bit of the mystery out of this detective noir
Okay,
story.
now when you do that though, it impacts your score. It hurts your score every time you ask for a hint.
You also have a flashlight in both modes, which illuminates things as flashlights are wont to do. But in casual mode, it will make things that you can interact with sparkle. So like you are told basically what you need to interact with to like pick up the items you need or get the clues that you need to figure out where to go next. Which is helpful sometimes because a lot of the time it is not especially intuitive. When you start out, like, basically, I mean, some of the stores are closed or whatever, but you...
Whoa, nightmare alert. Super quick nightmare alert.
The scariest thing, basically.
Can we not do this at all? This is good, too. I like... Yeah, love that.
You're just, like, dropped into this city with no direction on what you're supposed to do. It can be very, very overwhelming. And on top of that, like, it doesn't look very good. So the game's first impression, I would say, is an abysmal one.
It does not do a lot of the... I would say in modern times, we've gotten better about building environments that bring you on into a critical path that sort of like lead you through visual context to the next thing that you need.
Sure.
Tex Murphy in Tesla Effect, rather, it's very much about like just sort of wandering around.
Just walk around until you can find. Like I've been looking for that ladder since I started the game.
Right.
And little did I know, in order to find that ladder, I had to talk to this person, which would then open up another environment where I'd talk to another person, find a key, which would give me a lockbox, and then open up a rock that would give me the code to the lockbox to get inside this warehouse to lower that lever to get the ladder. Like, it's the craziest
adventure
thing
game.
Yeah.
Adventure game.
It's very, very adventure game. But I don't know. I'm charmed by so much of it. I'm obviously very attracted to the full motion video aspect of it because I don't know. It's crazy to me that this game got kickstarted with like $600,000, which represents an investment of people like, yeah, I'll pay $600,000 to see people act with varying levels of
success,
quality in my video game. Sure, yes.
One of the things that I would recommend people, if they're interested in this at all, this is what I did. I went back and you can get all the Tex Murphy games on GOG.com. They're all very cheap. And they run pretty well. The controls are kind of crazy, but once you get used to them, it's a pretty good scene. You're coming up on one of the puzzles.
We are going to skip ahead because I had to use my camera to record a video of it.
Oh,
and
you cheater!
Well, it's very hard. It's
a game of Simon that gets like wicked difficult.
If Simon, instead of 4 buttons, had a billion, and then like you had to memorize 30 commands in a row, that is.
Hey, you got to none. You got. Good job.
I wasn't sure what I was doing first. Not a great visual language for this puzzle. But yeah, I mean, good luck following that. That's the craziest. That is the craziest thing ever. Let's skip ahead just a little bit. Or maybe I'll cut out all this dialogue with me talking about how impossible it was, and I'll just like cut forward and we can pretend like I just did it on my first try because I'm incredible.
You better not.
Yeah, I did it. Oof, man.
Ooh, good job.
I thought I might have had trouble with that, but I did it really good with my great memory that I have in my brain. So that's I would say, a pretty bad example of the puzzles that are afforded you in Tesla Effect. Most of it's just talking to people, following a very bizarre chain of events to get to where you need to be, and just enjoying all of the good acting that you'll see in the game.
The funny thing about it is like the people that they have added new to the cast are almost uniformly much better than the old actors, because in the old actors they like just got whoever they could.
Yeah, my barber. Hey, do you want to come with me for an afternoon for free?
You're not that far off. I'm pretty sure Rook is an environmental artist, the pawn shop owner. Are you gonna get to him in this video?
Yeah, we can jump to Rook. I actually think he's pretty terrific. He reminds me a lot of Brad Dourif in Deadwood a little bit.
Yeah,
he's got a Dourifian.
Yeah, he actually turns in a pretty good performance for somebody who's not an actor by trade.
Listen to you.
I know.
Listen to Lincoln over here. That guy played Lincoln. You know that guy, Jim Caviezel, I think it was. So yeah, I'm really not sure how much else what else there is to say about this. Was, I admit, a weird game to overview because it's mostly dialogue and acting and cutscenes, and those typically aren't the kind of things you want to hear other people talk over. I feel kind of like I'm sitting in the front row of a movie theater shouting things at the screen.
Yes.
Speaking of, like we mentioned earlier, Kevin Murphy from Mystery Science Theater 3000 is plays your basically Siri on your iPhone, your future brand-free iPhone.
It's actually kind of a smart implementation, though, because in any video game, but specifically adventure games, you spend a lot of time by yourself. And it's really nice to have another voice in your head that isn't just Tex's inner monologue. Yeah.
Let's jump ahead just a little bit to more acting and
meet some of the other great characters.
Now, Justin, who is this character? Who is this performer?
This is Officer Policeman. He has a mustache. Detective Mustache works for the police department, and he is sort of your contact with the gumshoes. He slides you a little guidance, even though he doesn't like vigilantes.
I will say this about this character. I can't tell if this person is just not acting very hard, or
if that's just his thing. Sort of like January Jones in the first season of Mad Men. Yeah. Is she bad, or is that her character?
Are you bad, or are you just sort of disconnected from this entire situation? You don't want any of these PI shenanigans. You're a man with a badge and a code of honor. That code of honor maybe doesn't let you emote very much.
You've seen a lot of things.
You've seen a lot
very
of
little
shit.
Shakes you.
Listen, you've seen some stuff out on those streets.
With every character, you get to this point where you're just sort of like going through topics, and the dialogue for like I don't have anything to say about this is always uniformly excellent, because like it really, that's when you feel most like you're playing a Sega CD game, when like you just see 2 seconds of a person saying no idea.
One of the subjects that you can ask literally everybody about is Louis, who is who's the chef at the local diner, and every single person has the following to say about Louis. That Louis, he's a real great guy. Like in varying to Louis, one of the best guys I know.
Go all over Earth. It does not matter. All you hear about is Louis and what a sweetheart he is.
Louis makes a great pork pie sandwich. Great what?
Great what? You're in Arizona. How do you have any idea who Louis is?
All right, let's just keep rolling down this sort of vignette. of star performers.
Yeah.
This is the faux Brad Dourif, who I mentioned earlier. You can see. I think it's mostly the sideburns, maybe.
Yeah, he runs the pawn shop. His name is Rook. It's called Rook's Pawn, which is not bad.
No, it makes a lot of sense, I think. Oh, actually, I just got it. Oh, shit, Justin.
There you go.
That is embarrassing. Yeah, he is... I don't think he's... Look at those eyebrows, you know? If we want to go inside the actor's studio here, the most acting takes place in the eyebrows, and not a lot of people understand that.
Okay, so just to catch everybody up, one of the things you're skipping dialogue now.
That's really good. I just kind of wanted to get to the question and answer part.
All right, sure. Do you ask him about Louis?
I hope so. I love the question and answer segments because you get right up. Like, there is nothing but you and the acting. It's just you face to face, getting in there with those eyebrows.
It forces you to confront it. You should know, it's worth mentioning that Tex 7 years have passed in game since the last Tex Murphy game, but Tex doesn't remember any of it. So as far as he knows, it's the night after the end of Overseer, which was the cliffhanger ending, and in those ensuing years,
there it is.
Yeah, it loves Louis, and in the ensuing years, Tex has turned into kind of an asshole. So Rook is the only person, because he's kind of a curmudgeon. He liked the new Tex because he was an asshole, and everybody else thought he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah. It's a bit tropey, but I guess every single game from the era that this game is trying to recapture was like what those tropes came from.
Right.
Justin, you've played this series. You love FMV games. Like, is the nostalgia stuff, like all of these flashbacks and just sort of, the general tone of the game. Does it work for you? There's some very serious sort of unignorable technical problems with Tesla effect. But is it enough?
Part of it is that you just don't get a lot of FMV games, so you kind of have to take the good with the bad, you know?
Sure, but is it? How should I put this? I don't think that they could. I think they could make an FMV game that didn't have some of the issues that Tesla.
Sorry, quick moment of silence. Quick moment of silence for Kevin McCarthy of UHF fame.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out he was... First off, he's making up his dialogue here in BD. But totally... Well, here, I don't want to ruin it. And... Okay.
That is... I can barely handle that now at the age of 27 years old. If I had seen that as a child, it would have ruined me. It would have ruined me. Here I pick up an anvil, which I still have yet to figure out what to do with that.
Carry it around, improbably.
I try to combine it here with a thumbstick because I needed to crack the encrypted data from the thumbstick. So you thought literally. So I thought literally if I smashed it.
Like a 1940s grandpa, you thought if you smashed it with an anvil, the data would just come falling out in little crystals.
It was very, very Owen Wilson in Zoolander.
Look, you made a pulley.
But I did make a pulley.
A zip line, I guess.
Did I say the right Wilson? Which was the Wilson that was in Zoolander? That was Owen.
Rita Wilson.
That was Rita Wilson. Sorry. Yes, of course. My mistake. I'm talking about the now, who is this character, Justin?
That would be Zach Williams. He's a electronics store owner, an improbably dressed electronics store owner.
It really just kind of seems like that's what that dude was wearing. It kind of just seems like he was wearing that. And they were like, yeah, we'll put you in the game. Sure. That's a nice enough suit, I guess.
That's a pretty good hat. So Zach Williams is one of the... it's when he's looking dead in your eyes that he seems to be pleading. Why are they filming me? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to pretend to act?
I also love that there are still like just general electronics stores in the future, as if like in 2055 or whatever, Radio Shacks will still be kicking around.
I really dig the circuit board decor because that says to me electronics store.
Here's where circuits are bought and sold. Now, Clint, this is a performance that just like all around is great. And again, it sort of goes it goes another layer deeper where, yes, obviously his eye makeup is very poor. But is that because Clint himself in game used it to cover his ruined eye?
See, that is what they said, and they allude to Clint actually doing that. So it makes me think that maybe they realized this is very poor. We need a story.
We need a story.
We need a metafiction. Now, it's also good to note that Clint used to be addicted to chocolate.
Right, because back in the 80s, you couldn't say heroin. You couldn't say the word, because of Nancy Reagan, you couldn't say the word heroin in a video game, or it would be banned from sale. So they had to say chocolate instead. I wish they would just come out and say, now that like heroin's basically everywhere, you get Breaking Bad, that he was addicted to heroin. But you know what?
It's just, I can't handle whatever it is at the bottom of that eye patch. The texture, I don't understand. It looks like it's a nightmare.
Did they explain how he lost his eye? Does that happen in the events of the earlier games?
Not in the ones that I played. I don't know.
He just chocolate his eye out?
He just chocolated. He traded his eye for chocolate.
Listen, we've all been there. I'm looking for a little Mojo. So this is Mojo, a computer expert who works at a barbecue place for some reason. And
wait for it.
What a shagadelic name, baby! Yeah.
That's the and that is the greatest line delivery in video game history.
Right there.
That's really worth the price of admission, I would say. So that is a whistle-stop tour of what this game is. Have I missed anything? Is there something later on? I mean,
as you go along in the game, there are more puzzles, some more like exploration. There are even some areas where you have to like avoid detection as you investigate an area, that kind of thing. But you get the broad strokes, and I kind of feel like it's one of those that you know if you want to play it or not.
Yeah. It's
if you don't go in for Kish, if you don't go in for that kind of thing, then you probably aren't going to dig this very much.
I think that's safe to say. Try to drop the anvil on this thing. Doesn't
it? Yeah, that's what you need to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just aren't hovering. You have to hover over so the eye is on the thing. Otherwise, yeah. But you had the right idea.
See, I'm not so bad at these games as I thought.
No.
Anyway,
you didn't wander that red light, did you? Because that. Oh. Yeah.
No animation required. You just know that you goofed.
Yeah.
And now you're in the ground. That's Tex Murphy. It's out now on Steam. I believe it's $19.99. So that's what you will pay if you want to play it. Thank you for watching. We'll be back soon with more videos. Justin, thanks for walking me through this.
My great pleasure, Ditto.
We'll see y'all soon. Bye.